Borderline personality disorder. I had a major BPD event. It was at least a 9.5 on the BPD Richter scale. Since nobody knows how high that scale goes, there's really no way to judge that. But that's what it was, 9.5. If you've not yet hit the subscribe button, go ahead and hit it. Hit the subscribe button. It helps my channel out. Why would you want to help my channel out? I don't know, but hit the button anyway. If you really want to help me out, I'm planning a trip across America to raise BPD awareness. That's right, we've ditched the whole trying to find research project. In case you didn't know, we were going to try to start some kind of research program where we'd take like two babies and we'd put one in a closet and raise the other one like we loved it, and then we'd see which one wound up with borderline at the end. We're not doing that anymore. It takes too long and the mother would disapprove. So we're now going to raise BPD awareness as we walk across America. Why? Because I think it's an easier task to do and probably needs to be done more than the baby thing. If you'd like to help me out with that, that was a lot. That was a lot to... People have already left. Alright, if you would like to help out with that, go ahead and in the description of this video there is a link to PayPal where you can make a one-time donation. If you like my content, you can go over to Patreon where there are free videos as well as paid for videos. It's like Netflix, but absolutely not like Netflix. So go check it out on my Patreon page. There's a link for that too. Go check out my merch store. No, there's no merch right now. Nobody's been buying the merch, but I just haven't come up with a good enough merchandising thing to sell. I'm thinking Mr. BPD, like handguns. But that could probably wind up legally fighting me or costing more than it. Anyway, I'm just thinking, wouldn't you like a Mr. BPD personalized handgun? I know I would. Maybe just make Mr. BPD personalized bullets. You only need one. It's funny. Alright, we are losing our audience. That's fine. That's fine. The good stuff's at the end of the video. You can skip ahead to the end of the video if you want to hear the good stuff. Now I will continue to ramble aimlessly. Okay, so let's get to the point. Let's go somewhere here. Let's hydrate. Hydration complete. Alright. I had a major complete BPD event, unlike, well, no, it wasn't unlike any I've had before, but it was pretty bad. It wasn't the worst one I've ever had, but it definitely wasn't the least worst that I've ever had. It was in that upper echelon. For the last couple of years, I have been able to see the future. I haven't known when this future was going to come to pass. It could be anywhere from a couple months to years. I did know the future, though. I knew the eventual outcome of certain events. And much like death, even though you know it's coming, when it happens, you're just not quite prepared. You're always thinking it's going to be the next day, not today. So when it was today and all the lies, all the secrets were brought into the light, I knew once again I was being abandoned. You'd think I'd be used to it. Never get used to it, though. And this caused me to just spiral upwards out of control. Normally, in these situations, I would spiral downwards very quickly. A lot of people with BPD do this when they're abandoned or feel like they've been abandoned, betrayed, lied to. We like to spiral out of control. I believe the reasoning is for some craziness. We believe that when these people abandon us, that's the time to show them that they mean so much to us, that they are so important to us that we cannot live without them. What's the best way to prove that we can't live without them? To not live without them. If they leave, we'll go on a drug bender, harm ourselves, have sex with the dog, any of those just really bad things that people don't want you to do. Then when they leave, they decide to abandon you. That's the time where you got to prove that these are the things you're going to do without them to keep you regulated. And for some reason, we believe that this is going to make them decide that they don't want to abandon us anymore, that we are more important than whatever stupid, trivial life thing they've decided to move on to. It has the opposite effect, I've noticed, though. Usually, after I spiral out of control, trying to prove to these people how much I need them in my life, that without them I'm completely helpless and will wind up, shooting drugs into my butt in an alley somewhere. They stop responding to my phone calls and block me on social media and move to other states. Sometimes they get restraining orders. And I'm just trying to prove to them how much I need them in my life, that without them I'll spiral out of control. Yet I purposely spiral out of control. It's not something that happens just without my control. I know what I'm doing, and I take great pleasure in destroying everything that I've built up. And I know with each thing that I destroy, it's going to affect them more. It has to. Even if they don't come running back, they have to know that they caused it, right? Right? They got to know they caused it. I told you, if you leave scorched earth, they leave scorched earth. They have to feel some kind of personal responsibility for that, I would think. Then again, we're talking about norms here, and when it comes to norms, they really are clueless a lot of the time that the things they do will affect us and cause us to freak out and scorch the earth. A norm can't understand that when they tell me that they're sick and can't come hang out that evening, that means that it's justifiable for me to burn the house down. They think I'm overreacting. I think they're underreacting. I don't think they thought things through before they canceled plans or decided to up and go get married or go to SeaWorld or whatever they decide to do. Especially knowing the consequences. So maybe they just don't care. They do know what'll happen if they leave, but they still choose to leave and abandon. Maybe if they're far enough away from it, it doesn't affect them. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they only have guilt or remorse when it affects them in their personal bubble. If you've moved to the other side of town, then, well, if I destroy one side of town, it doesn't really matter so much. If you've moved to an entire different state, then it really doesn't matter. All of my worst fears came true. Everything I've been predicting came to pass. I wasn't even... Normally, I would be happy in a moment like that to have my I told you so moment. I always do this with everybody that's ever abandoned me. I let them know before they abandon me, long before they abandon me, that they're going to abandon me. I let them know early into the relationship, not too early. If you let them know too early, it's a red flag or something. They tend to kind of distance themselves. You've got to get them in that sweet spot where they like you enough that they're not going to be freaked out by it. I let them know with a long enough time frame, everyone becomes an enemy eventually. It's just the way it is. It's the way the world works. Everything is a constant state of movement, and everything in a constant state of movement is also in a constant state of change. We're always changing. Therefore, given a long enough frame of time, it would be impossible for you not to become enemies. Eventually, you have to become enemies. Therefore, I know I can always predict this. Now, the reason why you want to let them know early on is because they'll probably forget about it. They might forget about it. Yet, when they do abandon you, when they do finally take off and rip your heart from your chest, you can have your I told you so moment and be like, aha, remember? 5.5 years ago, I told you this was going to happen, you bitch. Say it like that too, with very little confidence. You bitch. Yep, that's the way to do it. And so you can have your I told you so moment. I love the I told you so moment. It's the only good thing about being abandoned. Then I get to go on a fun, crazy downward spiral. And they're normally speechless because they know that I'm right and that they are abandoning me, and they don't have any comeback for that. Nobody wants to be like, yes, you're right. I told you I'd never leave, and now I'm leaving. I'm a lying fat face. Nobody wants to admit they're a fat face that lies. I'm not even happy with the I told you so moment. I didn't even take the opportunity to use my I told you so moment this time around. Why bother? I didn't go into a downward spiral though, like I normally would. I don't know exactly why. I should have. I I wish I had, because now I don't know what to do. I mean, I had a month to destroy everything, and I chose to waste that month and not do it. Now it's too late. You can't, a month after somebody abandons you, then go on a downward spiral. It doesn't work. You got to do it immediately. It's an all in type of deal. I didn't do that. I waited way too long. Maybe 2 weeks you could pull it off, and not after a month. So now if I go on a downward spiral, it's entirely my fault, and it's not going to make them feel nothing. Never waste your opportunity. Can't even call them up and be like, I told you so. It's too late. Okay, that boat has sailed. That plane has flown into the horizon. All the goats have come home to roost. That sort of thing. Instead of my downward spiral, I went into more of an upward spiral. I don't know if those are possible, but if you can go in a downward spiral, I've got to assume that you can also go in an upward spiral. Instead of focusing all my energy on destroying everything, I focused all my energy on salvaging what was left of the stuff I don't want. Which I don't know why I did that. Maybe because I hadn't tried it before. I switched up my diet, so I was eating better. Because, I mean, my heart's been ripped out. I've been abandoned. I'm in a hellscape of a world. But I could eat better, was my thinking. And with all the crap going on, might as well eat healthier. So I switched my diet around, trying to lose some weight because I'm fatterson. Yeah, I did that. And then there were just other things I did. Started exercising a little bit more, not too much. I don't want to go crazy. Just not the typical things that I normally would do. And I got no reason for that. I think I was just in shock. It wasn't any type of thing where, trust me, I wanted to do the downward spiral. I really did. I think I just realized that it doesn't work, and so there was as fun as it is to do, it's ineffective. And since it's ineffective, it was just, why bother? So I had no way of releasing all of this. I don't even know how to describe it. All this just feelings of nastiness that normally I'd get rid of with bunches of drugs and lots of fire. But to just keep on going and actually try to do better than I was doing was different and not as fun. It is kind of nice though, because eventually the downward spiral thing, well, no. I was going to say you snap out of it after a while, but some of my downward spirals have lasted decades. I think one time, yeah, I did. A, a girl broke up with me when I was 17, who I thought was the love of my life. Every one of them's the love of my life, right? And anyway, I was with this chick for like a year and a half, and well, actually, I broke up with her, so this story's a lot different. So I broke up with her, and then I decided to still do the downward spiral. I was young, so whatever. That downward spiral lasted until I was like 37. So it just ended 2 years ago, or 1 year ago. I can't do math. I'm just saying that downward spiral lasted into my 30s at least. Maybe late 20s. Ah, screw it. Into my teens. Whatever. My timelines suck. Just believe that it was a long damn time. I mean, it would have been more fun to sit around and watch the horse dry. What is my point, you're wondering? Here is the point of it all. Is when life is crappy, all your fears have come true, you find out the monster under the bed is really there. Maybe stop eating red meat and see how that works. That's all. At the end of the day, that's all we can do. I would like to know all of your thoughts, opinions on this topic or any other topics. Please leave those in the comments section below. If any of them are really good, I might respond to them. I read them all. I only respond to a few sometimes. Be sure to help me, help you, help others know about BPD awareness by making donations and all that stuff. Until next time, keep on keeping on. Bye.